and she truly is the love of my life. And for those of you who don't know my wife, Karen, she knows cattle. She also knows horses. She's a good cowgirl. She's good on a horse. And I was thinking, I'm going to tell a little story about her, and she didn't know I'm going to tell this today. But I think it's a good story because it tells a whole lot about the character of my wife and also tells about the strength. It was about 20 years ago, and it was in December, and it was on a Saturday, and it was cold. I was out of town on my way back to the ranch. My brother was out of town. My daughter was 10 years old, and she'd spent the night with some friends in town. She went back to the ranch. Our two ranch hands, they went back to Mexico for the Christmas holidays. And the day work cowboys, they weren't answering the phone. And we were calving out first calf heifers. Y'all kind of know where I'm going with this. That day, as luck would have it, my wife had to pull two calves that day completely, 100% by herself. Now, she's a strong lady. I was driving up just as she was finishing the last one. She grabbed that monster calf and was pulling it around to the front head of the cow so she could start licking and cleaning on her new baby. Karen was completely exhausted. She had her hands on her knees. She was looking down at the ground. She was covered with blood and amniotic fluid all over her jacket, jeans, and boots. And as I jumped out of the pickup truck, ran up there to the stock pens, I pulled out one of those really great husband statements. It kind of went something like this. Wow, hon, that was a pretty big calf you pulled. What time do you think you're going to start fixing dinner? I'm a little hungry now. Now, I was just trying to put a little humor into her day with what I thought was just an incredibly sarcastic statement. Woo! She just stretched her face up like this. Her eyes were looking through slits. She looked like a rattlesnake. And I knew I'd said something wrong. But I'll tell you what, I thought I fixed a pretty good dinner that night. And I'm going to stop now because I'm getting that look again. I'll tell you what, she's the glue that holds the Mesa T Ranch together. And without her, I couldn't do this job. Karen, would you please stand?
Yay!
Well, I tell you, the cattle industry is facing a lot of challenges today. I don't have to tell you guys, this is preaching to the choir. But I think the one thing that strikes home the hardest to everybody is this ongoing drought. Now, we heard yesterday the cattle inventory in the country is the lowest it's been since the 1940s. We just went through the worst drought in recorded history in 2011. During the historic 50s drought, there were only 8 million people in the state of Texas. Today, there's 26 million people. And you all know where they're living. They're living in the urban city areas. Today, the rural sector is losing representation to urban growth. No different in Oklahoma. So while we wait for God to return rain to our land, it's important that the cattle industry in Texas and Oklahoma, ranch families and rural communities, that this association stay strong. And what makes an association strong are its members. And I want to thank everybody today who spent the time and spent the money to come here this weekend to the 136th Annual Convention of the Texas Southwestern Cattle Raisers. And you, I pledge today, I'm going to work hard, and I'll give it everything I've got to this association and the values it stands for. Thank y'all very much for the opportunity.